that?
Welcome to the sun-drenched tropical paradise of Isle Delfino. We're so pleased to welcome you to our beautiful home. Come enjoy a natural wonderland to which we've added the world's finest resort facilities, a spectacular amusement park, and succulent seafood. All this and more await you on Isle Delfino. Come relax and let us refresh your body and spirit.
That shadow. Those were statues.
Ah, such a nice and relaxing title screen and options menu. It's missing a little something from the GameCube version. I think there was a beatboxing Pianta or something like that here in the options, which, at any rate, since this is a brand new playthrough, a brand new Let's Play, we're going to start a new file, and this is going to be an any percent run, which means we're not going to do every single shine. Even though I love this game, I would not recommend doing 100% your first time. Because there are a lot of difficult and annoying missions. Most of them are optional, though. So without further ado, oh yeah, and Sunshine is like the most story-heavy 3D Mario game ever made, so there's going to be a lot of unskippable cutscenes with dialogue and whatnot, and I'm not going to talk over them, so let's just sit back and enjoy the show.
What happened? What's this icky paint-like goop? It's moving!
Now, boys, don't touch that stuff.
Excuse me.
I am most concerned with the well-being of the princess in this dreadful heat. Master Mario, if you would, cross over to that shore and find some assistance.
Oh, Super Mario Sunshine, how I love ya, but your story is not exactly a highlight. Then again, story in a Mario game that isn't an RPG, generally not going to be the focus, to say the least. At any rate, though, you're probably wondering, what are we going to do about all this icky paint-like goop? Well, not much you can do. You can go into this little pool of water. I mean, we could do a spin jump out of there. By the way, we've got a lot of new moves to play around with coming from Super Mario 64. Spin the control stick and jump to do a spin jump. If you time your jump as you land from a spin jump, this is very tricky to do. But if you do, you can instantly do a triple jump. And yeah, the triple jump is back. You can do the side flip. Sadly, you can't crouch in this game for some reason. But at any rate, we need to find something to take care of this goop. So, if we head forward...
Power-up complete. Thank you for purchasing this item from Gad Science Incorporated. Preparing to register customer information. Scanning and classifying subject data. Subject identified as Mario, resident of the Mushroom Kingdom. Data storage complete. Iron Flood, a flash liquid Vaporizer Ultra dowsing device. I hope to be of assistance. Proceeding with user instruction.
Alright, everybody, so say hello to Flood, the flash liquidizing something dowsing device, something like that. I don't know. But anyways, though, controls. So, going from GameCube to Switch, you lose access to the analog shoulder buttons. What is an analog shoulder button? Basically, the harder you push the shoulder button, that changes the reaction. So, with Flood, since he's basically a water pump, the more you push the R button in the GameCube version, the higher the water pressure that comes out of Flood. I've never really had to explain that before. But since this is the Switch version and there are no analog shoulder buttons, a compromise had to be made. So now, if you hold down, let's see, the ZR button, you can run while squirting water. But if you push the R button, you can stand and squirt. And this is actually the only way to stand and squirt in the Switch version. I gotta say, this control scheme change was quite an adjustment for me, since I've been playing this game since 2002 when it originally came out on the GameCube, but I managed to adjust fairly quickly, honestly. I think this change to the control scheme is very beneficial. It makes it a lot easier to do this maneuver, where if you jump, hold down the R button, and repeatedly push the jump button, which in the Switch version is actually A or B, funnily enough, you can do what's called a spray move. A lot of people that speedrun this game or play this game call this a spam spray, for good reason. Also, while you're holding down the R button, you can jump to do a flip. And that's how you do the backflip in Sunshine. You know, it's a little bit more of a process than it was in 64, but what can you do? What can Flood do? Well, being a water pump, you can clean up goop, including off these NPCs. These guys are called the Piantas, native to Isle Delfino. And I gotta say, they are quite the eccentric bunch, if I do say so myself. They aren't the only species native to Isle Delfino. There's another species called the Noki. We'll be seeing those guys sooner or later. At any rate, though, we're going to collect our first Shine Sprite, basically the replacement for Stars here in Sunshine, and, well, we're going to have some more unskippable cutscenes. There's quite a lot of them. Before we do that, though, I did cut out the tutorial. It's funny to mention that when they tried to update the tutorial, they removed any instance of Flood saying the R button. So now he just says, press the button, which is kind of funny and kind of weird I did it, but they probably don't have access to Flood's original voice actor, so they did what they could. At any rate, let's sit back and enjoy some unskippable cutscenes. Do enjoy the story, though, for what it is. You know, just enjoy it for what it is. And yeah, just like in 64, anytime you collect a Shine Sprite or another type of collectible that we will be seeing soon enough, it lets you save and continue, save and quit, or just regular continue. This is a Let's Play, so we'll just save and continue every time. Why not? Basically autosave.
Quite an unusual device. Is it some sort of pump?
I am Flood. Glad to meet you.
Court is now in session.
As you are no doubt aware, someone has been senselessly defacing fair Isle Delfino using some paint-like substance. The accused is charged with polluting our beautiful home, and yes, endangering our very way of life. Indeed, how can one not be aware of what is going on? Though it is daytime in Delfino Plaza, our poor residents tremble beneath a veil of darkness. Expert Shine scholars have determined that this darkness has arisen because all of our guardians, the Shine Sprites, have vanished from their gathering spot at the Shine Gate. The reason? It's quite obvious. This horrible graffiti of the perpetrator based on eyewitness descriptions. The truth is obvious. The guilty party sits among us. It is none other than Mario.
Objection!
Overruled. I judge the defendant guilty as charged. I hereby order the defendant to clean this entire island. Until Isle Delfino is completely free of his vile handiwork, Mario shall not be allowed to leave. Court adjourned.
This appears to be quite a predicament, Mario. Data analysis verifies that the island's inhabitants are indeed troubled by pollution, but the pollution itself is not the main problem. Mario, you witnessed this object at the airstrip, correct? It is a shine sprite. Shine sprites are the source of power on Isle Delfino. They used to gather in great numbers at the Shine Gate, but the graffiti incident has polluted the island and most of the Shine sprites have fled. There is no longer any power to support the peaceful lifestyle of the islanders. It is most pitiable. The only way to ensure the return of the Shine sprites is to keep the island from becoming any dirtier. The perpetrator is likely at work even as we speak. And you, Mario, are being treated as a criminal. Tomorrow we must do our best to resolve this situation.
Go straight to the point. You can't miss the med now. Your first job is to get rid of all that ugliness. And remember, we'll be watching you, pal. We'll know if you start slacking off.
So welcome to Isle Delfino, or specifically Delfino Plaza. It's looking kind of dirty. Well, don't worry, we'll clean that mess up real fast, I promise you. At any rate though, yeah, now we finally start Sunshine proper. But before we do anything else, I want to come over here because this sand looks pretty dirty. So I just want to clean this sand real quick. And we're going to spawn the Shine Sprite because why not? It's right here, right? Delfino Plaza has its fair share of Shine Sprites. A lot of them are hidden and blocked off until later in the game as you make more story progress. Figured I'd at least show off one of them though, just to let you guys know. Yeah, there's Shine Sprites hidden inside of Delfino Plaza itself, as well as other places that you can access here from Delfino Plaza as well. One of them we'll be accessing rather soon actually, but we're going to get this Shine Sprite. Go ahead and knock it out just so it'll buff out our account for no real reason, because to get to the end of Sunshine's story, it isn't really a matter of how many you collect, but it matters what specific Shine Sprites you go out of your way to collect, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, that Shine Sprite is literally right there, very easy to knock out. And here we have Peach and Toadsworth. Gotta say, every time I rewatch that cutscene where all of the characters are in the courtroom and Peach does her little objection, oh man, I can't not think about Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Which is funny because I played Sunshine long before I even touched an Ace Attorney game. Funny how video games you play later in life can make old classics that you revisit on a fairly frequent basis have a slightly different context. And it's pretty interesting overall, I gotta say. So at any rate, I didn't talk about it earlier because, well, this is a goop piranha. I don't know what the exact name of this enemy is, but basically, they're piranha plants made of icky paint-like goop. And this one is of the brown variety. The other one, gotta say, had a bit more of a colorful aesthetic going on. I definitely like that one more. It'd be nice if we saw more of the first kind rather than more of the brown kind, you know what I mean? And I don't start with the racist comments. I just mean because this kind of shade of brown makes it look like a certain object of waste that comes out of certain living beings, okay? Jesus.
Princess, look! On the statue's head!
That imposter. looks a lot like me. Kind of a funny coincidence that here in Sunshine we have a Shadow Mario and a regular Mario. And people think that the Shadow Mario is the real Mario. Kind of reminds me of Sonic Adventure 2's plot. A little too much for comfort. Well, it is what it is. Don't you just love coincidences in video games? I know I sure do. At any rate, in order to make Shadow Mario trip on his feet, just spray water on him. For some reason, that works out pretty well. You're probably wondering what the mystery of Shadow Mario is. Well, we're going to have to make a little more progress in the story before we find out about that sort of thing. For now, we got other more important things to worry about. Like making sure these Piantas are all nice and clean. Because, yeah, we're just nice people like that. Alright, keep following Shadow Mario. He's going to go all the way back to this Pianta statue. Because he's going to open our first portal to our first real level of the game. Yeah, you could call this a course, like in Super Mario 64, but I feel like Super Mario Sunshine's areas are a little bit more in-depth compared to a lot of Super Mario 64's courses. So it might be more fair to just call these straight-out locations or levels, rather than courses, I feel. And our first mission here in Bianco Hill is going to be Road to the Big Windmill. There's going to be a higher quantity of main missions in these levels, a couple more than what were in 64. But to make up for that, there's actually a smaller quantity of levels compared to 64. Arguably, it all balances out for the most part. Kind of feels like there could have been a couple more to make it a nice even number rather than the 7 that there are, which is like less than half of the 15 from 64. Well, again, it is what it is, but it kind of makes up for it with the density of a lot of these areas. So, oh yeah, you're probably wondering, what's the deal with blue coins here in Sunshine? Because in Super Mario 64, blue coins, they were just another kind of coin like the red coin and the yellow coin. Yes, that is true. Very astute observation on your part, but here in Sunshine, blue coins kind of got promoted to being like a secondary collectible in addition to the main collectible of the Shine Sprites / glorified Power Stars, but with a, summer aesthetic, etc. And yeah, we have to fight another goopy piranha plant for some bizarre reason. Now, you have to fight so many of these things throughout Sunshine. If there's one boss reuse that is definitely worth criticizing, it's these things. But thankfully, we should be fighting a more interesting boss sooner than you might think, actually. But this one will actually spawn piranha plant heads. And they're covered in goop, but they're actually piranha plant heads. It's actually kind of weird how they did this. Try to stay on the other side of a body of water, and you should be able to protect yourself from the onslaught of the piranha plant balls of doom. But, yeah. Here in the Switch version, you'll have to click down on the right stick to go into first person, which is definitely an adjustment for me, because on the GameCube version, you could push down the, you could push a button, the Y button specifically, to go into first person. I definitely find that more intuitive than clicking down on the right stick. This was the biggest adjustment for me, not the whole having to micromanage 2 shoulder buttons to spew water or spray water. It's the right click stick down to go into first person. Not a lot of games force you to do that just for the simple first person maneuver, So yeah, that much is kind of adjustment. Before we get that Shine Sprite, there is another blue coin over here. So you're probably wondering why I'm going after blue coins since I said this wasn't going to be a 100% playthrough. Well, the blue coins are something that people complain about when going for 100% because a lot of people claim that the blue coin locations are very out of the way and some of them are specific to certain episodes or missions. That much is true, but at the same time, you have to understand that that's only true for a few blue coins. You could pretty much get most of the blue coins in any of these levels fairly easily, I'd say. Like, there's 30 blue coins in each of the main 7 levels in some Super Mario Sunshine. Honestly, by the time you get to like the 6th or 7th mission in a lot of these levels, you can potentially already have all 30 blue coins. That's sadly not the case with Bianco Hills here, though. You're going to need to go all the way to the final episode, which is actually one more than you need to do to get to the end of the game. And since this is not 100%, I will not be showing off every single episode of every single level. You have been forewarned. If you do want to see me do all that without commentary, well, that's what the speed play is for. Or, well, it's meant to be a speed play. A speed play is like a mix between a speed run and a long play. That's besides the point. You're here to watch a Let's Play. So we're just going to do the Let's Play in peace. Because, yeah, I really do love me some Super Mario Sunshine, man. And you're probably wondering why people like me love Sunshine so much, despite some of its flaws. Well, honestly, if I had to think of one particular reason, it's Mario's movement, honestly. Just the way he moves in Sunshine, it's not the same as any of the other 3D Mario games. And I just really like how FLUDD so naturally works with Mario's moveset. It's actually kind of crazy how well it all works together, honestly. But, yeah, a lot of blue coins are honestly pretty easy to track down, and they're not very cryptic to find. You could easily find at least 20 blue coins in every course without, using a guide or anything like that. Just explore the level naturally, man. Just chill out, explore the level naturally. I don't think the blue coins are worth complaining about, Especially because 100% is totally optional to do. It's not mandatory to beat the game, and gonna let you guys know, 100% Sunshine, you're pretty much only doing it for bragging rights, so if you're complaining about blue coins, that's more on you rather than the game. That said, the blue coins presence does indicate that this game was rushed and that there could have been more regular missions in place of the blue coins. And I agree, that's definitely a possibility, and that is a shame. More importantly, though, this weird-looking piranha plant has a shine sprite. We need to get that. Say hello to P. Piranha. This is the game where he made his debut. Yep. You may recognize him from games like Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, or maybe Mario Kart Double Dash, perhaps. I think that's like the only Mario Kart game that he's in and he's playable. It's kind of weird how ever since all of the a lot of the Mario games that came out after Super Mario Sunshine just happened to feature P as a playable character. Nintendo kind of spammed him, in retrospect. But he doesn't show up nearly as much as he did back during the GameCube era, I find. So anyway, to defeat P. Piranha, you need to wait for him to start opening his mouth because he's preparing to do a sludge attack, where he spews sludge from his mouth. And yeah, basically you're spraying water into him so it prevents him from doing that type of thing. But yeah, this is a pretty easy boss fight. Perhaps a little more complex than King Bob-omb because, you're forced to use FLUDD and all that. But once you fill his belly with water, you just ground pound his belly button and, well, wait for the arrow to spawn before the ground pound actually works. Kind of know that works. And he just melts back into goop. Interesting how that works out. Oh, and Delfino Plaza only has 20 blue coins, technically. More on that probably in the last episode, I gotta be honest with you guys. Oh boy. Also, I hope you're enjoying me editing out every instance of me going back to Delfino Plaza and coming back into the level, making this seem like a very seamless thing, but in actuality, Sunshine reuses the boot-out system of Super Mario 64. Welcome to Episode 3, The Hillside Cave Secret. Oh man, this one is, it's gonna be interesting, I have to tell you. Because we're going to be introduced to a certain, what would I call it? Certain level trope, I guess we can say? Yeah, we can call it a level trope, kind of. Mini level trope, whatever you want to call it. This is a pretty good time to clean up this Pianta guy over here. Love the mustache on this guy, I gotta say. Gives Mario's mustache a run for his money. Oh, he doesn't give you anything. Well, we'll still clean him up anyway, just because. I just like helping people, you know? Even if it's a video game character. Like, whatever, man. Sometimes you help a character and it is to your benefit, so maybe you should just get in the habit now. I'm just saying. I know eventually there will be a Pianta that spawns somewhere that if you clean him up, he'll give you a blue coin. Maybe there's 2 of them in Bianco Hills. Sometimes my memory can get 1 or 2 blue coins here and there mixed up. It's no big whoop, honestly. Let's see. If we spray water on one of these trees, we get a blue coin. Bada bing, bada boom. There's a lot of blue coins to get in the little town area that we passed by, but we're going to wait till the next mission to worry about that, since that mission is almost entirely based in the town. Watch out for these blue pokey-looking guys. I forget what they're called, but the blue pokey guys, they will, if you go close to them, they'll start spawning rocks for some reason. It's kind of weird, but the rocks actually will damage you, so be careful. What you want to do is you want to hover on over here to literally the hillside, where this arrow sign is. You want to try to get on the rope here and hover on into this cave entrance over here. When you do so, Shadow Mario, like the rascal he is, steals blood. And welcome to a unique level trope for Sunshine specifically. Certain missions, usually ones that have the word secret in them, task you with going into a weird dimension kind of area where you don't have FLUDD, you're just platforming with Mario without FLUDD. It's kind of like you did briefly during the beginning of the game. But the thing is, you don't have FLUDD, these areas have some pretty challenging platforming. If you rush, but if you take your time, I find these are a lot easier to digest. But keep in mind that Mario's physics are a good bit different than what they were in 64. Whether you find them less slippery or more slippery probably depends on the person. I consider 64 to be a little more slippery, but that's only because I'm not as used to Super Mario 64's movement compared to Sunshine's movement. But even Sunshine's movement can be weird sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Liberal use of the spin jump can really come in handy here. Alright. These stars can be a little tricky. You can use a ground pound to stop your spin jump prematurely. Can be pretty helpful. I kind of want to get the 1-up shroom, but I don't really need it. So, first try, no big whoop. Let's head back into Bianco Hills and do the next episode, okay? Episode 4, Red Coins of Windmill Village. By the way, anytime you're forced to go to an area like that where you don't have FLUDD, try re-entering and see if there's something new for you to do, for all you completionists out there. Yeah, keep that in mind. At any rate, though, now that we have a mission that's more focused here in the little town, I believe now is a good time to start going for some blue coins. Showing it off mostly for you guys' sake, and to prove that it's really not that difficult or annoying to track down the blue coins. It really isn't. That said, should Nintendo have put in like a checklist or something for this port of Sunshine? Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt, honestly. I mean, it doesn't seem like a very hard thing to implement. At least I don't think it is. But, well, they've already decided that that wasn't needed. They made a lot of other interesting changes. By the way, this chicken is like, it produces sludge and can be kind of annoying. I'm trying to knock this guy out from the sky. Kind of a hint towards an upcoming boss fight, actually. Oh, you get a 1-up shroom for that. Makes up for the 1-up shroom I couldn't get in the area. Well, I probably could have gotten it, but I was just being lazy about it, honestly. But, yeah, there's a lot of graffiti to clean up here in the little village of Bianco Hills. You know, a lot of it's pretty easy, and it's, you know, not too out of the way. There's another one of those birds, but I'm going to leave that one alone, just because. Oh, and look, we got the return of an actual Pokey. Alright. Well, anyway, definitely took care of that guy. now I think about it, since these are like the first Mario games I'm doing Let's Plays for, all these 3D Mario games, I probably should mention that Pokies are a cactus-like enemy that made their introduction in Super Mario Brothers 2, if I'm not mistaken. Not the Lost Levels, the one that's based on Doki Doki Panic. You know, the one that a lot of us people that grew up on Mario games know as Mario 2. But, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, there are a lot of blue coins to find here in the village. There's also those red sparks that will hunt you down on the ropes. They can be pretty annoying too. Not gonna lie. Okay, what is going on here? Alright. Let's try to... Alright. Let me... Oh, by the way, these boxes contain nozzles for FLUDD to collect, including extra hover nozzles. There's other types of nozzles to get too, which will give you different abilities. And we'll talk more about those when that becomes relevant. We're going to spin jump onto this wall, head to the top, and you can get this red coin fairly early on. Those gusts of wind that you're seeing right there are very annoying enemies to deal with. Let me tell you. You don't have to deal with them too much here, but this won't be the last time we see them. Alright, we get another M graffiti here, and that's should be the 10th blue coin, because I only got 1 blue coin in Delfino. And here we have an X graffiti. Usually if graffiti is like an X or a circle or a triangle, they come in pairs. Thankfully, this X, the companion to this X is like right next door. Believe it or not. Look, yeah, pretty easy to get that one. So I think the timers can be a little different depending how you go about it, but for the most part, this kind of vantage point is recommended to get these blue coins, since you don't have to spend extra time traversing upwards, as it were. Alright. There are some blue coins you can get close to the windmill where you fought Petey, but I'm not going to worry about those right now. We're just going to keep going through here. 2 more red coins in order to actually finish the main objective. Let's see. I've had a run where I missed like 1 red coin and I couldn't find it for like the longest time. And I don't want that to happen again. So now let's head over to these windmills. Well, these windmills are a little different from the other windmills that we've seen. The hover nozzle is such a godsend, let me tell you. Really makes platforming really fun in a 3D Mario game. This is one reason why a lot of us like Sunshine the most. It's because of FLUDD, man. FLUDD is fun. It's almost like the F in FLUDD stands for fun, rather than flash liquidizing ultra dowsing device. Is that the full thing? Did I actually manage to say the full thing in one go? God. Alright. Ah, man. Yeah, those gust of wind enemies are really annoying. I don't see people complain about them enough, honestly. Good lord. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Chill. And there we go. Last red coin. We will get that shine sprite shortly. Let's see. There's supposed to be a blue coin there next to that pole, but I guess it doesn't spawn until a later episode. Probably episode 6, if I had to guess. There is a blue coin over there, though. Hoping I have enough water to make this. Oh. Ow, man, that was pretty close. Alright. Well, dang, that's like, what, 15 blue coins in one mission? Wow, that is really not that bad at all. Alright, let's head back over here because, actually, let's refill our water tank real quick before we actually progress through the rest of it. I was pretty much 1 tightrope away from getting to where the shine sprite is, but yeah, I don't want to risk it. Also, actually, before we get to the shine sprite, I want to check on something. See if I can knock something out ahead of time, since I think we're going to end this episode, after I get the shine sprite. Ah, yes. You see that red box over there? Yeah, we want to get that now, because it's going to come in handy in the next episode. Actually, I want to say it'll come in handy in literally every other episode in Bianco Hills, whether you're doing 100% or any percent. And this is going to be the rocket nozzle. So not every single course, but most courses, did I say course? Most levels in Super Mario Sunshine will have a rocket nozzle and another type of nozzle that we'll hopefully get to see in another level maybe. It's not really going to get a huge focus in Bianco Hills, unfortunately. The rocket nozzle actually will make it easier to get to the Shine Sprite, I think, now that I think about it. But you have to track down one specific nozzle box before you unlock all the other ones. As you can see, this box here was faded out earlier, but now that we got that other specific box, now all of the boxes are usable. And the one box you need to track down is episode specific for the most part, unfortunately. Yeah, as you can see, the rocket nozzle makes getting the Shine Sprite very easy. But anyway, guys, that's going to end this first episode for Sunshine. Next time, we're going to finish our business in Bianco Hills, and maybe, just maybe, we get to start a new area, because, oh, how I love this game so much. And we're also halfway... Oh, yeah, before we do that, if you push the L button here on the Switch version, you'll pull up a handy-dandy menu over here, see? You can click on your Shine Sprite totals over here, keep track of that. I'm going to spoil it, but you should have approximately 50 Shine Sprites before you can reach the final area. But again, it's not any 50 Shine Sprites. It's very specific Shine Sprites. I will talk more about that as that becomes relevant. More importantly, though, if you click on an area's name, or the circle above it, it will give you a blue coin counter. Yes, it'd be nice if they told you how many you had left and which ones were episode specific, but that was probably a little bit too complex to implement, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, we're already halfway through 15 of 30 blue coins in Bianco Hills. Really nice. Hopefully we'll be able to make a good bit of progress into the next level that we will be entering in Sunshine. Now we can clean up this Pianta over here. So isn't this the same Pianta we cleaned up not too long ago? Oh, now he wants to give us the blue coin. Alright, wise guy, I see how it is. I see how it is, trying to hold that coin hostage, huh? Alright, well, we're pretty much only going to be worried with the village once again because Petey Piranha is back. Oh yeah, and this time he arguably means business because he's going to have himself perched up on the hilltop not too far from here. You want to have the rocket nozzle. I wouldn't say it's mandatory for this mission, but it's highly, highly recommended. You know, it's one of those kind of situations. But, yeah, getting the extra vertical ascension is rather helpful for this specific mission. And you're probably wondering why exactly it is. Well, you will see. I guess that blue coin definitely doesn't spawn until episode 6. Episode 6. What am I thinking? Alright, let's head up here. A lot of goop around here. It's almost like there's a goop thrower somewhere around here. I don't know. Alright, you also want to use the rocket nozzle to head up here and get this blue coin on this platform. Bada bing, bada boom. Not that hard to do. Oh, and here's another Pianta over here. Let's see if it's two Piantas that give a blue coin in Bianco Hills. Nah, it's just the one it's looking like. Alright, then, let's grab one of these water pig balloons. I don't know exactly what these are. You gotta be very specific with your aim with these balloons, because you gotta hit Petey Piranha with one of these. There we go. Only took a few tries. If you're having trouble getting him with ZR, or wait, is it ZR? Yeah, ZR on the Switch. Try using just the regular R button. Now that he's in the air, you don't necessarily need the rocket nozzle anymore, I find. If you want to go ahead and change back to the hover nozzle, you're more than welcome to. But you could still use the rocket nozzle to knock him out of the air. You gotta spray water on him when he's in the air. And yeah, you can do it like that. It works out pretty well. Guess I may as well finish what I started over here. Get the water in his gullet. Alright, get him waterlogged. Don't worry if you get hit, because like Super Mario 64, Mario has 8 hit points, once again. Pretty easy to refill your health, too. Well, maybe not as easy, because there aren't as many coins in Sunshine compared to 64. Keep that in mind if you want to go for those 100 coin shines, because, oh yes, they return. And arguably, they are more annoying here in Sunshine than they are in 64. For a very legitimate complaint / reason. I'll just say that much. Wow, I can't believe that actually reached all the way over there. I am more than a little surprised. So PD also has a new tornado attack. And a new head swing, apparently. That's interesting. But, yeah, watch out for all of the excess goop. It's quite annoying to deal with, let me tell you. And yeah, eventually, if he gets his way, he will spew goop from his mouth, and yeah, that can be a mess. There's also these piranha plants lurking in the goop. They will produce 3 coins, so pretty sure they're there for you to restore your health during this battle with Petey. Well, we already got 1 hit in on him, so let's try to clean up this area a little bit just so things are a little more organized. Your spam spray really comes in handy for this, let me tell you. Right, knock him down, right there, get our handy dandy refill. If you try to get him from above, it's a pretty good time to get water into his mouth. And you're much more likely to dodge his tornadoes from above him as well. Like, he's not having any luck hitting you with that tornado, let me tell you. Go into first person, depending on the version you're playing, and yeah, pretty easy to get water into his gullet from here, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't really matter how high you are before you ground pound, it's still only gonna count as 1 hit, unfortunately. If you're high enough in the air before you ground pound, by the time you make impact, you actually might get like a flame effect sorts going on, which I think is really cool. But alright, Petey Piranha is back in the air. You gotta wait for him to stand still once again to stop moving before you can spray him down. For the most part, let's see. The water can get him from over here. Come on, there we go. Alright, he's pretty close to the river, which is a nice source of water that you have access to, so this is probably not going to end too well for Petey Boy over here. Unless he spams tornadoes, you know, that can help put some distance on his part. Alright, come on, open. Come on, man, quit spamming the tornado. Quit being cheap. Lord. A boss in a video game being cheap. 4 in a row, wow, okay. Yeah, he's definitely playing hardball over here. Alright, I won't go close to you. Good, Petey. Let's reward you by shoving water down your gullet, and then bada bing. Whew, that was pretty aptly done. Alright. So now that we get this episode out of the way, we should have a lot more blue coins spawn for episode 6. I know of at least one that for sure doesn't spawn until episode 6. And there's another one that starts spawning in episode 6, but is recommended to get in later episodes for a reason that will become obvious rather soon. You will see. Episode 6, The Secret of the Dirty Lake. And let me tell you, I'm not an expert, but that looks like a really dirty lake to me. Alright, now that we're finally in episode 6, there's going to be a few more blue coins that are spawned. Some of them are fairly convenient to get now. I'm going to go ahead and try and get at least one of them. Maybe more around the little village area over here before we move on, since after episode 7 we're going to be done with Bianco Hills for this Let's Play. But I'm still going to try and show off as many blue coins as I can for you guys, so it'll save you a little bit of trouble. Alright, you want to head to where the Shine Sprite was for the 8 red coin mission, because there's going to be an interesting animal that's spawned over here. There should be a blue bird somewhere, and if you spray the blue bird enough times, it will produce a blue coin. Believe it or not. I know that sounds weird, but there's the rascal. Alright, don't worry. You can use the rocket nozzle to head back on top of the platform and resume your spraying on the blue bird. Some of these guys can be a little annoying to track down, but if you know the general location, you generally can be pretty good. And if you ground pound right before you reach the ground from a very large height, you will reduce your fall damage. Now the blue coin over there finally spawns, so let's go ahead and try to knock it out. Oh boy. Actually, I think it might be better to use the hover nozzle to get this blue coin, but you can use the rocket nozzle just fine. Alright, so now there's going to be another blue coin. If you remember where Petey Piranha was in the last mission before we woke him up from his nap, there's going to be a blue coin that spawns there starting in every episode after episode 5. At least in this case, it actually makes sense to do that, because, yeah, why would you bother getting the blue coin when you're going to be smack dab in the middle of a boss fight, right? That's why episode 5, there's only like 1 or 2 new blue coins that spawn as a result of it, and honestly, it's probably recommended to get those blue coins now during this episode, but I just felt like getting them out of the way sooner rather than later. That was my personal choice. It's not something you gotta do. You don't have to collect a single blue coin to beat the game, but these are just my little bone to throw to you guys, and again, I do love Sunshine, so anything I can do to put in a good word for Sunshine, yeah, it's no big whoop off me. Okay, now this Pianta, I mean, it's a different Pianta, but now you get a blue coin from cleaning up the Pianta. Alright, so now we're going to have these clouds. Interestingly enough, if you spray water on the clouds, they will get bigger, which might be scientifically accurate. I doubt it. There you go. You can use the hover nozzle on this peninsula, I think it's called, or something like that, and you'll spawn another blue coin. If you fall into the dirty abyss below, you are likely going to lose a life. Thankfully, it's very easy to hover to and from. No big whoop there. How many do we have? We should have 21. There should still be a few more I can get. I think there might be a couple that spawn in the next episode, though. So, I think just to be on the safe side, we'll go ahead and get a refill on our water tank with this hover nozzle over here. Alrighty, and now we're going to head back to the forest area. We're going to be close to the windmill, because, okay. So, if you remember, I got a blue coin under the water right over there. There's going to be another blue coin under the water, but it's not recommended to get it now, because if you touch that water, it's going to hurt. And there's also going to be a blue coin that spawns here. This one should be pretty safe to get. Basically, get on the tightrope. Adjust the camera if need be. The camera is so much better than the Mario 64 camera. It's still not perfect. I'm going to say that. The camera is still not perfect, but it is much better than Mario 64. The development team really learned their lesson after their first 3D outing, and oh man, aren't we all glad they did, let me tell you. I believe that brings us to, what, 22 blue coins? And there's one under the dirty water, so you should have a potential maximum of about 23 blue coins at this point. Maybe 24 or 25, because there is, there is a blue coin, another blue coin I can get here. At the top of the windmill where Petey Piranha was. By the way, are you enjoying all these skips I'm doing with the spin jump and all that? Yeah. Normally I would get this blue coin during episode 8 if I was doing an actual 100% run. But since this is any percent... Oh, the blue coin is over there too. Wow, that's interesting. So, 2 blue coins that I would normally save for episode 8. Actually, the one under the dirty water I would probably save. And the one I got earlier. Alright, enough of me blabbering on about 100% rapping. Oh my god. So, you get a blue coin for defeating this Pokey, and... Oh god. It's convenient that this blue coin is spawned now, but it's a little out of the way. Use a spin jump to help, and the hover for that last chef's kiss you need. So, counting the one that's under the water, I guess you can have 25 blue coins. At least 2 blue coins are 100% exclusive to episode 8 of Bianco Hills. You need something, I won't say exactly what it is, you need something that you won't acquire until midway into the 4th level in the game. Although you could probably do that 4th level a lot sooner than the numbering would imply. As you can see, just touching the water instantly deals damage. But this water won't deal damage. And here is a gray nozzle box. By opening it, you will unlock the turbo nozzle for Bianco Hills. Sadly, it serves literally no purpose other than giving you a speed boost on the body of water. Could be useful in a speed run, but for now, all we can do is this. So, yeah, the rascal steals our water jetpack again. Alright, so welcome to the 2nd sacred area, and this is going to be a lot harder than the first one. Not trying to say that the first one was a walk in the park or anything. Now we have these rotating platforms, and yeah, if you're standing on the rotating platform, when it's rotating, you are most likely going to fall to your doom. Thankfully, this first set is fairly easy to figure out the pattern, and there's a really easy to get one-up mushroom here, so do a spin jump to get onto this cube. Alternatively, you are supposed to wall jump off of the blue wall over there, but that's kind of an angled wall jump, which I do not like to do in Sunshine. I do not recommend doing it if you can help it. Spin jump over here. That was very clutch, and normally not what I like to do. Alright, we gotta go into another rotating cube. These rotating cubes aren't too bad. There's gonna be a couple more in some of the later areas. Oh, by the way, during the any % rooting of Sunshine, you're going to do every single secret area in the game. So that's going to be pretty nice that I get to show all of them off. They're all pretty cool, one way or the other. So, yeah. Now we're going to have the final rotating platform area. I'm definitely going to want to take my time here. It is worth pointing out that these gray dots that you see littered about weren't in the GameCube version, because apparently this is like an emulation thing that happens, an emulation quirk. And all of these games in the collection are technically emulated, so yeah, that's just kind of what we're dealing with in that regard. But to the emulation's benefit, I think this helps people, because you can figure out the pattern of where the rotating platforms are going to go a lot more easily, which can be helpful, I'm not going to lie. Alright, spin jump over here. Very clutch, good lord, I think I felt my heart stop for a minute. And, yeah, once again, first try. I'm wondering how long I can keep that streak up for. Ooh, boy, I'm gonna need a drink of water after that one. Oh no! Shadow Mario is on the loose! Kind of a funny title for the mission. Yeah, he's on the loose, alright. He's just standing there waiting for us to go over there and spray water on him. Do be careful where you spray water on him where he lands. I guess you don't have to be too careful, but when he spawns the Shine Sprite, it'll land really close to the ground for some reason whenever you're doing any of these Shadow Mario missions. Speaking of Shadow Mario missions, now is probably the appropriate time to bring up the fact that in order to reach the end of the game, you need to do Episode 7 of each of the main levels here in Super Mario Sunshine. Oh, he's already defeated. Alright then, that's very cool. We'll let that Shine Sprite spawn in peace. Here in Episode 7, there should be some new graffiti. Ah! A pair of circle graffiti, alright. Pretty good time to show this off, and this will give us 2 more blue coins. Alright, man. That's really nice. This should be most of the remaining blue coins, actually. We'll knock that one out. If you spray water on the ground and then do a forward dive with the Y button here on Switch, or the B button on GameCube, you'll actually enhance your slide a good bit, and you'll be able to travel a lot more quickly. Alright, that brings us to 26 blue coins total. Okay, so there should be that 1 blue coin in the other area. We're going to go ahead and knock that out real quick, just to show off for you guys, of course. Yeah, go over here. I'm trying to think, because this only brings us to 27 blue coins. I know there's 2 that are completely exclusive to Episode 8, and then there's 1 other blue coin. I'm sure it's not too hard to find out, but There might be 3 blue coins in episode 8, honestly. Alright, but the second blue coin spawns quite a bit further than the other one, sadly. It's like around here somewhere. Yeah, so it's a... I do find that with the upgraded resolution in the Switch version, I find that blue coins are actually easier to spot from a distance, which is a really nice touch. So basically, one blue coin is on one side of the level, and the other blue coin is on the other side of the level. That's basically what we're working with. But yeah, that's 27 blue coins, guys, out of 30. It wasn't that hard. 2 of them are, I know for a fact, at least 2 of them are exclusive to episode 8, which is an optional episode. As for the 3rd blue coin, well, but I mean, hey, it's not gonna be tough to track down. Alright. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I pretty much covered like all the obvious and even some of the not so obvious ones, you know? There might be another one like in the tight ropes or something like that. It's really not that hard to track down, honestly. Alright, let's go ahead and collect this 7th Shine Sprite, head back to Delfino Plaza, and see what's been going on while we were doing all these shenanigans. Oh boy.